Ooh, velvet blue. Very seductive looks from this new cartridge from the Canadian brand Pure Fidelity. But is the sound up to the looks of this cartridge, the Stratos? Let's discover it now. Okay guys, so Pure Fidelity sent me its new cartridge, phono cartridge, to review it. And I want to thank them because choosing me isn't that easy. As most of you know, I live in Italy, nearby Florence. So sending something on the other side of the pond, there's some risks, there's some expenses involved. It isn't automatic to choose me, so thank you for that. But apart from this, let's dive in immediately in this analysis. First of all, we're going to take a look at the specs. We're going to take a look at the looks, the characteristics, the physical aspects of this cartridge. And then we're going to try to understand a little bit better my take. In-depth sound analysis. Are you ready? Let's go. Okay guys, so here we have the box where the cartridge is stored and shipped out. It's a nice, nothing special box made out of simple wood with this fire engraving of the logo. It's very light. Once again, it's not high quality wood, but it does the job in the end. Okay, so let's see what's inside. We must take this away. We have this nice protective type of foam, very light but very we could see compact, which is excellent. There's something similar used also in gardening, just to give you an idea. It's very nice. And inside we have the elements that come along with the cartridge and clearly the cartridge itself. Here we also have a nice little card with the specifications, so might as well go through them, I think. Okay, so it's a moving coil low output cartridge. Very nice, my favorite, I must admit. The material is something a little bit different. It's called duralum, as you can see. It's an alloy of aluminum, copper, and magnesium, which they say is useful to have a low weight, a minimum resonance, and a high rigidity. So I think that's one of the secrets of the quality of the sound of this cartridge, actually. The output level is 0.45 millivolts. The diamond, the stylus, is not a typical microline or line contact that we're finding all over the place in high quality cartridges, but it's an elliptical cartridge. As you can see, it's a micro elliptical. So we're already in a different type of elliptical, but I think that is very, very interesting. And I think, in fact, the sonic characteristics are mainly due to this choice and the duralum. The cantilever is solid aluminum, which is an excellent choice. I did some research. The very famous Bohr cantilevers are surely very good, but also aluminum has special characteristics which may seem cheap, but that is absolutely not so. In fact, I also did a video on the different cantilevers. If you want to see it, here is a link. You're also going to find the link in the video description. The magnet is composed by this material, this alloy, once again, by samarium cobalt, which they declare is useful to have a reasonable output and a low mass at the same time. The tracking force, the recommended tracking force, the impedance, 45 ohms, the loading suggestion, between 400 and 500 ohms, and the compliance, a normal standard compliance, and the weight, 8 grams. Very nice. Okay, let's take a look now what's inside the box, actually. So, here we have the cartridge, but let's pause a moment that. Let's see what else we have inside here. We have a set of screws that come along. so you can fit the cartridge on the head shell or the arm in a variety of ways. Nice. And something I appreciated a lot, because clearly I've already seen all this. This very high quality, I think you can see it, hex screwdriver, which is useful to screw clearly these inside the head shell and or tone arm, because it has a special type of head, this type of screw. I think you can see it. In any case, they give you the proper tool to do this, and I think that's very cool. Also, because you can use it for something else. In this little hole, we have our nice, finally, ta-da, Stratos. Let's put this aside. It comes like this. I think you can see it. Beautiful blue. I love the color. I love that it's metal, shiny metal, blue metal. We have the 4 pins with the different colors. You can take them away if I just take a picture, if sometimes they have a different arrangement, or just remember, just look online the pictures. You have more contact if you take those away, actually. Here we have the logo of Pure Fidelity. And here we have something that I don't like, actually, this protection. Now, although this protection is very good, you can't use it if the cartridge is attached to a tone arm or a head shell, because this part is in the way. So, for example, I did some exchanges, some comparisons with my other cartridges. So I had to take the head shell out and put a different one. And I couldn't put this on, this protection on. So I had to put it aside very carefully. I was worried. So this is something to take note, you guys. We're doing this, finds another way to protect the stylus. Trust me, it's a good investment. In any case, for transport, this is fantastic, absolutely. Serial number here, and let me show you a little bit better. Let's see if you can see the stylus. I think you can see it. There you go. Okay. Okay guys, welcome back. Here it is. Now that we have explored a little bit of the details, let's jump in the review. Before starting though, I want to say that if you want to listen this baby in action, okay, and I will give a few details of the rig I'm using, you just need to follow a few links I'm going to put in the video description, as well as this one, where you can listen with your ears different records that I've been testing in various videos in the last weeks, because I've been testing this baby for quite some time now. So if you want to understand better what is the sonic signature, that's the best way, okay? I'm not going to put any songs in this video, no need. There's so many and so different types, it's just better to go and see those other videos. Once again, you're going to find the videos in the video description, the links, the direct links. Before proceeding in the analysis, I just want to say a few things of what I've been using to test this, okay? So clearly my Kuzma turntable, the Stubby R. The tone arm is the 4.9, still by Kuzma. One of the best arms out there according to a lot of people. I think it's excellent. Maybe it's not the best of the best, but it is very, very good. Absolutely. And clearly it's an excellent combination with this turntable. All of a special type of decoupling gizmos I'm not going to talk about. Clearly I'm using my preamplifier by Master Sound. Also different types of amplifiers, including my AccuPhase, plus something else I'm reviewing, which will come up, SET type, so tubes. But the main thing clearly is the phono preamp, which is the audiophile FL phono. If you don't know anything about it, I made a review. Here is a link, also here below. Okay, so I tried this. This is an MC cartridge. I tried it directly as an MC, but fortunately there's also an MM input, okay, in this phono stage, in this phono preamplifier. So I also been using the Stratos with a step-up transformer, something that I'm also in the processing of reviewing, which I got for myself. And I must admit that the results were very different. We could say distinctively better. What am I talking about? The Auditorium 23 Homage. An incredible step-up transformer that really delivers a lot, especially with the Stratos, because with the Kiseki, I must admit that I did not notice that much improvement. There was, but not that much. So this was also another good point of the Stratos. Something I forgot to say, the price, besides the other specs, well, we're just below 2,000 US dollars, okay? I've seen it at a little more, at a little less, because it's starting to be sold here and there, but this is the official price that Pure Fidelity told me. Now, I've been playing this baby. They recommended at least 30 hours for break-in in order to better understand the characteristics. Clearly, I did immediately a first review. I took some notes, and then I waited a lot. I think it has more or less, doing some rough calculations, more or less 50 hours. I think even more on it. So I should have a good idea, but I'm sure things will proceed and get better, clearly, like all cartridges, in time. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to say a few things with the first impact, okay? Out of the box. Afterwards, now, what's happening now? Okay, so the first aspect I want to highlight is the bass. I was immediately struck by how deep, controlled, and just realistic it was. Fantastic. Out of the box, it was already excellent. What instead did not convince me immediately was the upper range, okay? The higher notes. They were a little bright, I must admit. But once again, that's something typical. Not all cartridges have out of the box, but some do. And this one did have this. Nevertheless, something that also struck me was the materiality of the instruments, okay? So we're going also in the mid-range, but not only, also in the upper frequencies. And for example, something I always pay attention when I'm listening to gear is how they reproduce the striking of the cymbals, okay, in the drums. That is something that at the same moment you hear, not always, it depends also from the recording clearly, the wood of the drumstick, but also the sound of the metal. And that sound of the metal, that reverberation, that specific and very distinguishing sound, I would say 7 times out of 10 does not come out correctly. Now, I'm not saying that the Stratos is perfect. It's reproducing exactly reality in this sense. No. But it was a big jump ahead in what was I used to listen. In fact, I want to say that my main comparison is going towards the cartridge I'm currently using, the Kiseki Purple Heart. If somebody's interested in knowing a little more about the Kiseki Purple Heart, here is a link. You're also going to find it in the video description. Clearly, the Kiseki Purple Heart is something at a higher stage, actually, in terms of price. We're around 3,000 and sometimes even more dollars, okay? So roughly we could say 1,000, maybe something more dollars more than this. So not exactly a fair comparison, actually. But we also know that these prices are just chosen this way. It does not really reflect what's happening. Plus, clearly, I have the Dina Vector in my mind, the Lira Kleos, also the TSD15 by EMT. I mean, I have a good park of other cartridges which I'm referring to, but mainly that one, because clearly it's the one I was listening more, and we could say it's my reference since it is my preferred cartridge up until now. Still is? Who knows? Okay, so something else as I was underlining is the materiality, not only of the drumsticks, but also the instruments. Really communicated immediately from the first listening the material with which they were crafted. So metal, wood, plastic, different types of metal like a saxophone or the plucking of a guitar or something like that. It was very distinctive, something that I rarely encountered, I must admit. It's there with the Kiseki, but not as convincing as the Stratos. So chapeau on that. Very, very well done. And also the mid-range was great. I mean, nothing to say about that. Nothing maybe stellar, but good, very good. I would say just as the Kiseki, maybe a notch more afterwards. I can already anticipate that. Something that I did not like, as I said, it was a little brilliant on the top, plus it was lacking a little bit of soundstage, okay? That was a little compressed, but once again, that's normal, I think. In fact, let's start discussing of what happened after 50 hours or more of listening, intense listening. So things clearly did open up. Here is the final result. Absolutely. I still sense a little bit of shimmering, that little brightness on those high notes on piano. Okay, I do sense that, which is not present, for example, on the Kiseki. That's where I have my direct comparison. But since things have went so much in better, I'm sure this is going to change after further listening. I mean, 50 hours, maybe 60 at maximum aren't that much, actually. I would say even 100, then we're really starting to listening the baby. So I'm not worried about that, and it's not disturbing at all, although present, and I wanted to signal this. And the rest just bloomed. I mean, the soundstage, that's where things really changed a lot dramatically. Just opened up so much more than the Kiseki. Wow, and that was, it seemed in the beginning like a weak point. Oh baby, I was wrong. It's just going beyond the speakers. I love that very, very much. Congratulations. I don't know if it's this different type of stylus, okay? Because we are a little too much used or going for microline, okay? The line contact, those very sophisticated types. This is an elliptical, it's a micro-elliptical, so I'm sure it does have those cuts, or it's not a normal, clearly it's not a normal elliptical type. I'm sure that is giving that special distinctive what? Warmth. Okay, that's another main point of this cartridge, which I do find with other similar normal elliptic cartridges. Absolutely. In one phrase, there's meat on those bones, baby. Oh yes, I mean, when you start listening to well-recorded music, you just sense that materiality I was talking before, and that warmth, that there's just beef there. It's nice and rich, deep, solid. I love it a lot. I must admit that I think this cartridge, for the price especially, is very, very good. In fact, if I should do a comparison, something that was coming in my mind when I was listening, I would say that probably the Kiseki is a little more elegant. Okay, it's like a classical dancer doing a ballet, probably something like that. But a tad boring maybe at a certain point. While instead, the Stratos is more of a flamenco guy. Sorry about these images, but I did sense this contrast. And it was just more fun to listen, more musical. I know this term is a little strange, but it does make sense sometimes when you use it. More lively, more present, more 3D, with this nice soundstage, and the materiality of the different instruments and voices and things like that was just there with rock, classical music, jazz, you name it. So actually a very positive cartridge. I wasn't expecting this. Congratulations once again to the designer, because there is something special going on here. Absolutely. Okay guys, so once again, do go and check out those videos you're going to find in the video description, so you can also listen. A lot of people do reviews like this without let you listen to anything. Since I did so many videos like that, and this is already a little long, I just referring to something else, okay? Go and listen, and then you're really going to understand what's taking place here. Thank you again for watching, and remember that music is born analog. Ciao! Well, guys, if you're enjoying my videos and you're enjoying my channel, please consider to subscribe by clicking the black and white logo here below. Also, don't forget to click the notification bell so you'll never miss an episode and you will become a true member of the analog community.